I've got this 20 litre bucket I have to use for work sometimes. Now after carrying it back and forwards with this thin metal handle all day long, I find myself wishing it was a more comfortable grip. You can see how it's attached to the bucket. I've got no hope of slipping a handle over that, so I have to come up with a way of slipping a handle on from the side. This is my very first attempt. Now I hadn't printed anything in TPU for quite some time. This is 95A. I've forgotten just how firm that filament could be. Good thing I just printed a little test piece like this rather than the full thing to begin with. That's why we do test prints, isn't it? So back to the drawing board. I've got my canvas inserted into Fusion 360, just calibrating it to the right scale. Sketching out the handle, just using the spline. I find that the easiest way. According to the board I've got it laying on, it was about a R100 radius, but yeah, when I tried that it just didn't look quite right. Just fully enclosing this, so I've got a block to extrude. Now I can start a sketch, find our center point for the metal handle's cutout. I want a center line to be able to offset. That sort of slot that I had in it was just 0.15mm either side, so it's a 0.3mm gap to open it up and get it around the handle, and I want to fit this onto the handle itself. Adding down the bottom here, same as the teardrop shape at the top that prevents any sort of sagging when you're printing your overhang. Just adding the same thing to the bottom to give it a bit more flex, make it easier to get onto the handle. Making a mistake here with these 45-degree lines. I had been using them as construction lines for a 3 tangent point circle to make the rounded sides of this shape. I soon realized I was going to wind up with greater than a 45-degree overhang at the bottom there. So once I figured that out, I abandoned that idea and do it the way I should have, straight from the start. Using the sweep command, just following the path of this curve. That gets us to the midway point. So I'm just modeling half of the design at this point. I'm just going to mirror right at the end. So in some cosmetic chamfers. Well, this middle one's not cosmetic. That's going to make it much easier to get it over the handle to begin with. That first prototype I had didn't have that. I'm hoping this makes it much easier. Mirror this out. There's the entire assembly. Importing it into Bamboo Studio, just making some modifications, changing top and bottom to concentric, infill to gyroid, dropping that down from 15% to only 10% infill. So that first sample I had was a bit firm, so this will make it a bit softer. Don't want to print the entire thing initially, so I'm just using this shape to cut off the vast majority, so I'm only printing a little test piece. Here's our little test piece, just making sure this does go on as easy as I was hoping before I print the whole thing. And just like that. Time to print the whole thing. And here's the final print. Came out pretty well considering this filament's been laying around for quite a while. I was expecting a bit more moisture content to be causing blemishes and defects, but no, it came out well. Given that it was going to be strictly a utility print and I wasn't terribly concerned about the cosmetics, I mean, look at the state of the bucket. No, that 10% gyroid infill seems pretty good. It's going to make it much more comfortable to carrying this thing around all day long, especially when it's got bloody 20 litres of petrol in it.